Simon, what does Jake Lee need to do today to lock himself in for Friday?
He just needs to get through training. He's done all his match loads the last few weeks, and he's done all the training possible. So it's just getting through today's session, and he'll be on the plane up to play Brisbane. So it's going to be great to get one of our leaders back, a really important player to us, and obviously helps the back half of the ground. So we know the type of team that we're coming up against. He's an important player for us.
Particularly Brisbane and their key forwards and their tall forwards have been pretty potent recently, particularly last week. So it's a good time to get Jake back.
Yeah, it is. Like, they're an incredibly high-scoring team at the moment. They're very dynamic ahead of the ball, and their tall forwards are in form. So to get an experienced defender back, that'll help us not only play on one of those guys, but help set the field up in a way defensively that's really important for us. He's certainly a big player for us to come into our side and help us defensively.
How's Christian Sale tracking? Does he still need to prove his fitness, or is he good to go?
He's good to go. He'll train today, and we're really confident he'll be right to go. He had a little bit of a knee soreness last week, but he's progressing pretty well. We're pretty confident he'll get through training today and be available and be on that plane up to Brisbane as well.
Just with Stephen, have you addressed the staging issue with him directly since the game?
I think there's been enough focus on Stephen for me to have the conversation with him. I don't think he's the first player to ever try and get a free kick given to him. So clearly he's a little bit embarrassed by the situation, but I think some of the talk's been a bit much. For Mark Robinson to come out and call him a cheat, it's probably a little bit too much. And if you know Stephen's character and his competitiveness and the way that he plays the game to the highest level. And I think that's one of the things that's been missed from the weekend is his game on Nick Larkey. He kept him to a point and had the 6 mark oppos and one of the best players on the ground, but clearly that incident's been taken away from him.
So there's been, I guess, an association made with what Stephen did with the concussion issues in the game at the moment, head knocks, and they've sort of brought Angus's name into as well. Do you think is that a too long a bow to draw when we're talking about what Stephen did?
I would have thought so. What do you think?
Well, I mean, I can see why people would go there, but I don't think it was split in the second decision that Stephen made.
I think clearly the AFL are doing a great job at protecting the head, but players, will lower their legs to get high free kicks, for head-high contact. There's a whole range of different things around free kicks given around the head. So I think it's a very long bow to draw in this situation, and clearly. Steve was trying to get some delay in the game and a free kick, and it was paid for him. So as I said, I'm sure he's not the first person to fake for a free kick and get given one. But clearly it's an embarrassing situation when it gets called out of staging in the public forum. So I think we accept it, we move forward, and we keep moving ahead.
Do you think he would do it again? Grab his head like that?
You'd have to ask Stephen that. I guess once you get called out like this, you're probably not going to do it. I wouldn't have thought.
Kind of Brown, just about the best debut you could have in such a short period of time. Has he earned a starting spot this weekend?
Yeah, obviously only played the 10 minutes. We'll wait till we get through training today to really finalise what that looks like. But, he brings a lot of speed, a lot of energy, still developing his game, for AFL footy. And, he's one of the players that's, as a young player in our team at the moment that's come in and played got that experience at AFL level. So we'll have a look at that once we get through full training today to work out where that sits for his selection.
How much did you rate Trent Rivers' game playing midfield?
I loved it. Yeah, look, he embraced the role. It was only given in term, obviously, when Christian went out of the team. So for him to come in there, we've sort of played him for little bits and pieces in the last couple of seasons, but to embrace that role full-time last week, I thought he was outstanding for us. And this is what this game gives you. When you lose players or you give opportunity to certain players, you find something in your team, and we think we've found something with Trent. So, he'll be going through the midfield again this week.
So he's grabbed that spot for the foreseeable future in that role?
Yeah, look, obviously we're still going to continue to trial things and look at things and opportunity, but from last week's performance, he looks like a high-class midfielder in the making, so we'll continue to press on with that and give him another look at it this week against a really formidable team in the midfield. They're playing some outstanding footy.
Is Matthew Jefferson getting a bit closer? Bagged goals in VFL on the weekend and something presents up really strongly. Is he someone you're looking at?
He is. He's getting closer all the time. You know, he's obviously kicked a few bags in the last few weeks, so he's progressing his game. He's come a long way in probably the last 5 or 6 weeks. He certainly spent a lot of time building his body, building his craft and his mastery around the key forward position. And he's still got a little bit of work to do, but he is someone that we're really excited about. Clearly, he was a first round draft pick, able to come into our club and build his game, and he's right there in the mix now to get selected for AFL footy.
Quite a couple of weeks for Bailey. Rich, is there anything that he can do to get himself into the game, or is it more about what's happening ahead of him?
Yeah, look, he's obviously not happy with how he's playing. Frida, he's someone that's highly competitive and obviously impacts the scoreboard quite regularly. The thing that we know about Bailey is that when he gets his work rate and his pressure game to a really high level, that brings the rest of his skill set into play. So that's been his focus, is to get those defensive actions right up to speed, and the rest of the game will unfold for him. So he's really determined to get himself back into form. And if you go by his training in the last couple of weeks, it's going to come pretty soon.
Just on Brisbane, still not inside the top 8, do you feel like they've got their game back a bit over the last 4 to 6 weeks?
Oh, they're playing some brilliant footy. Clearly they're a very experienced side, and they're a very mature side, and they've found their ability to score really heavily, and they're a side that's clearly playing some of the best footy in the competition at the moment. So we certainly know what we're up against. We're looking forward to the opportunity to go up there and put ourselves on show, but we're going to have to play our best footy to really put ourselves in the game.
Just on Clayton, a bit quieter on the weekend, but Will Phillips did a pretty good job on him in the midfield. Do you feel like is it something Clayton can do to get himself going a little bit more, just for the midfield, getting his hands on the ball?
Yeah, look, obviously we've spent some time on how we can help Clayton. He's an important player to us. He certainly wasn't happy with the way he played on the weekend, not only from an impact perspective, but obviously giving away so many free kicks. And there's been a lot of talk around Clayton and where he's at, and the contract and all sorts of things that are certainly things that we're going to have to work with for a long period of time. But he's had some challenges leading into the season. We all know that. He's put a hell of a lot of work into getting himself ready for AFL footy. And to be honest, he's still having an impact for this team, and you can only tell that by opposition teams are prepared to tag him. And he must be doing something right if they're prepared to tag him. So, he wants to play better, clearly, but he's working incredibly hard to do that, and we feel like it's not too far away.
Thanks, Goody.
Thanks, guys.
Want to see more from the D's? And don't forget to subscribe up here.